Bruno Fernandes.
Looking for Šeško, turned home, Bruno Fernandes! Manchester United do have a second, his 6th goal of the season.
Mbumo.
Turns it around the corner to Brian Mbumo, Mbumo! Passes it into the back of the net.
Cunha.
Casemiro, gonna find Cunha, Cunha's effort, back of the net! Oh, it's absolutely...
Šeško.
Early ball into the box, Šeško inside the area, Šeško at the Stretford end!
Manchester United looked terrifying.
You're thinking, Manchester United are going to score now if you're the opposition.
There's more faith being built in the players. The players all of a sudden look like they can play football at the level that they were when they signed.
Michael Carrick is making the managerial position just look easy.
Brian Mbumo at the Stretford end!
For a manager to come in, and Carrick's done brilliant, but to play players in the right position, ask certain things, show courage as Manchester United should, it would improve things, no doubt.
Simply by playing players in their correct position, United have been able to win games. Every time you think their new manager bounces over, they just keep winning.
Coming from the 3 games that he in charge, he's the man to do the job for now.
There is now legit hope around this team. Optimism. The more time passes, the clearer it becomes that Manchester United didn't need years of suffering.
There is no other way. We need to suffer.
They needed a manager who actually understands the players he has. Since Michael Carrick took over, one thing has stood out almost immediately, and that's stability. He's stuck with almost the same lineup every single week, and you can see it paying off. The players look like they know each other. They're all on the same wavelength. There's actual chemistry in the way they hold the ball. Under Amorim, every match felt like the mystery box from Call of Duty Zombies. You never knew who he'd play, where they would play, or what United were even trying to do. One match, they were relying on Dalot to become Cristiano Ronaldo. The other matches, he would have center backs coming on when they needed a goal. And every week that passes by, it just makes Amorim look worse. United attack better now. They defend better. Their midfield is tighter. Their back line looks settled, and there's so much more fluidity when they go forward. Nothing looks forced. Now to the outside, it might seem like dark magic, like Carrick just came in, injected some steroids into this team, and suddenly they can string together passes. But it's not magic. It's just the players being put into roles that actually make sense based on their strengths and weaknesses. Carrick has also made this squad believe again. When you look at it, United actually have a very strong first 11, and now they're playing like it. Even players who were getting stick before, like Dalot, like Casemiro, they look more comfortable and confident. Again, this isn't an accident, this is down to coaching. Then you get to one of Amorim's biggest mistakes, not playing Kobbie Mainoo enough. In many teams, that alone would have been a sackable offense. Benching one of the brightest academy talents just to only win 32% of your matches is disgraceful. What's great about United is even if they do go on and lose now, they put up a fight in every single match. That's what the fans wanted to see. They understand that you can't win every single game, but there's no excuse for playing poorly and playing poorly consistently like they were under Amorim. This fan base hasn't seen a turnaround like this in years. I mean, think about it. These guys went from being scared to play Wolves, from losing to a 10-man Everton, to going toe-to-toe with City and Arsenal in the same month and beating them. They even beat a very informed Fulham team. I wouldn't really say their win over Tottenham is impressive given the fact that everybody spanks those guys, but still. It's a game that they could have easily lost under Amorim given how poorly they played against other relegation contenders. There's been a huge shift in the mentality of this team. Like, they went from thinking an 8th place finish was the ceiling of this squad to now believing that Champions League football is a realistic target. Then not only are they winning games, but Carrick ball feels like a proper evolution. It's way more refined than Ole ball. It's not just about counter-attacking anymore. United can control games, they can adapt mid-match, and they have different ways to win, which is exactly what big clubs are supposed to do. You're not supposed to rely on one style and one formation all the time. Amorim, on the other hand, tried to convince everyone that they had to suffer for his system. He nearly lost to Mainoo. Like, people forget, Mainoo handed in a request to be sent out on loan, but the club blocked it. Then you have the fact that Amorim played Bruno in a pivot. I'll get to that later. They also lost 4 straight times to Spurs. They literally lost to one of the worst Spurs teams ever in a cup final. So that's why United even beating another bad version of Spurs is still impressive. then how can anyone forget the loss to Grimsby Town? Not to mention in Amorim's first season, United finished 15th, the club's worst ever Premier League finish. And yet the Amorim Glazers will tell you all of that was a part of the process. Now some of them will come out and admit it now, that they were wrong to back him, that the people who were against the sacking were wrong. Because he had convinced people that the players weren't good enough. He convinced them that progress was going to happen slowly. But when you look back, it was never about the players, it was always about that 3-4-3 system. Amorim played against the strengths of his squad and refused to adapt. And when he finally started adapting, he would still go back to his default system even when he saw progress. He literally told everyone that his system wouldn't change. And maybe that should have been a massive red flag before he was hired. But I guess it's easy to say that in hindsight. The man did dominate Portuguese football with his system. Even the people who didn't like Amorim though were skeptical about Carrick stepping in. But now even his biggest critics couldn't have been more wrong. Look how the players have been playing. You got Brian Mbeumo, who looks like an absolute star. A top class forward, versatile, fearless, all the qualities that United attackers used to have. Under Carrick, he's slotted into a new role without any fuss. He's playing up front now like a false nine, but he's doing an excellent job, still getting goals, still finding himself in the right spots. Then on the other end of the pitch, Sene Lammens has been really good too. In fact, to be honest with you, pretty much all the signings have had great moments. Šeško has scored some winners now. Matheus Cunha has been playing excellent. Even when he was asked to come off the bench, he put his ego aside and balled out. Meanwhile, Garnacho, when he was asked to be on the bench, immediately asked for a transfer request. What an upgrade, by the way, going from that blonde-haired lesbian to Matheus Cunha. The guy's work rate is insane. He never stops running. And of course, look how deadly he is shooting from distance. But on top of his great footballing qualities, it seems that Cunha actually cares. You look at the moment that he hugged Casemiro after Šeško's winner, and that looks like a player who's willing to die for the team. I don't think you can imagine scenes like that last season. And anytime you feel bad for Amorim, don't. He deserves the criticism. I mean, the guy kept saying that Mainoo was the future of the club, then barely played him. He claimed Mainoo had to compete with Bruno, but that's just ridiculous. There shouldn't be competition between those two guys, they should be playing together. So that's just mismanagement on Amorim's part, because as you can see under Carrick, Mainoo and Bruno play phenomenally together. The one positive from the Amorim and Mainoo beef is that it might have helped Mainoo grow up faster this season. You see it a lot with the best young players. One day they just look bigger, smarter, more assured on the ball. The first few games under Carrick, you could see that with Mainoo. He looked fantastic. Even though he hadn't gotten a lot of playing time before, he still dominated the midfield against City and Arsenal. United have a world-class, homegrown midfielder on their hands. Like, this guy's only 20 years old. If he was doing what he's doing at another club, there would be rumors about United wanting to buy him for 80 to 90 million pounds. If he had played more matches this season, he would be back in the England starting 11 and in Golden Boy conversations. Because remember, it wasn't that long ago that he was in the England squad, that he was starting in the Euros final.
Again, this is the quality of Kobbie Mainoo, and we saw that when he got into the team, the England team, and played in the Euros at 18. We know what the quality he's got.
Unfortunately for him, he got injured, came back to a manager who refused to trust him, and suddenly people forgot how good he is. That was always the issue with Amorim. He was his own biggest problem. He played the best number 10 in the world out of position. He played him where Mainoo should have been. He wasted Bruno's attacking talent.
Bruno playing in a position in advance with people like Mbeumo, with the quality of Cunha, who can drop in and play in that 10 and score the goals like we've seen him score. It's all about the offensive side of them right now.
Now, Kobbie Mainoo isn't some perfect player. I just want to make that very obvious. He still can't read the game like a Casemiro, but he's so much better in a three-man midfield. And eventually, United will need a proper replacement for Casemiro, and that's going to make Kobbie improve his game even more. He's so good playing behind Bruno in that 4-2-3-1 system, in that triangle, and that's why United have been playing such attractive football, because these technical players are now closer together. Now, not playing Mainoo could have been justified had his replacement not been Ugarte week after week, a guy who was putting up even worse performances. At one point, it genuinely felt personal that Mainoo wasn't playing. It seemed like the Portuguese man was making footballing decisions just to protect his ego. He'd rather lose than be proven wrong. The damage really came from the multiple draws, their terrible goal difference, and a manager who refused to adapt to the Premier League. Carrick has been a massive upgrade, even if it's for the short term, and the momentum under him feels real. Are they going to win every single game? Probably not. But 4 straight wins after beating the top 2 teams, That never felt possible under Amorim. And the worst thing that Amorim did wasn't even tactical. It was the fact that he convinced fans that it was okay to write off an entire season just to learn his system. I feel like no serious club does that. And it took wasting a half of a second season for people to finally wake up. United didn't need more suffering. They just needed clarity from their manager, and they finally have it. I mean, take Bruno for example. For me, he's a perfect example of how much better United look by Carrick simply giving the team clarity and playing to the strengths of the players. He's one of the best attacking midfielders in the world, if not the best right now. Why was he ever playing as a double pivot? The guy is a goals and assists machine. He needs to be closer to goal, surrounded by runners. He's not supposed to be dropping deep to collect the ball. In Carrick's 4-2-3-1, Bruno has been cooking because he's finally playing in the position that he's supposed to be playing in. As a result, he's been stamping his authority on all kinds of matches. Since United are also playing more on the counter, it makes Bruno's playmaking that much more lethal because he has so much space in front of him and more passing options. In general, all the players seem way more comfortable with what they're being asked to do. That's why even Casemiro looks fantastic. And the squad as a whole, they're playing with aggression. They're actually competing. And this is all because from day one, Carrick went straight to work. He brought in Steve Holland, a hugely experienced coach who's worked with England and Chelsea. Holland's also a local lad, a lifelong United fan, and someone Carrick already trusted. United also added Jonathan Woodgate, who had worked with Carrick at Middlesbrough, and he brings defensive experience. The squad's mood lifted instantly. That happens sometimes when a manager leaves, especially after a tense spell like the one under Amorim. Many of the players were ready to go again. They wanted to prove themselves. Casemiro, as I mentioned earlier, is a great example. He knows he's leaving, but he wants to leave on a high. Ideally with Champions League football, which is why he joined in the first place. After a few games under Carrick, he looks like a proper footballer again. In fact, he's been so good that Jamie Carragher had to come out and apologize after saying that the football had left Casemiro. That sentiment can be seen with the other players too. I mean, Dorgu before his injury was looking like Black Gareth Bale. Many of the players have spoken about Carrick's training sessions according to The Athletic. They like his communication and how much interest he takes in the younger players. That's something that was definitely missing before. Reportedly, Amorim barely watched academy matches. Carrick, meanwhile, has been everywhere, with the under-21s, the under-18s, Carrington, Youth Cup games. Things like that lift the whole mood around the place. According to The Athletic, training itself also looks very different now. The sessions are shorter, but more intense. Most days finish by 1 p.m. If the players need treatment, they come in early. Carrick doesn't believe in dragging things out for the sake of it. Reportedly, there was even a session before the Arsenal game that ended early because the quality was so high. So Carrick wanted to save that energy for match day. According to The Athletic, players also get video clips sent to their phones as homework. Hopefully they send the right files. Imagine you pull out your phone and instead of homework for the game against Arsenal, it's just Casemiro's nudes. Carrick is also big on communication. If someone isn't starting, they're told why. There's no mind games, there's no guessing from the player, which explains why players like Cunha and Šeško played so well despite coming off the bench. The players also really trust him because Carrick himself has been in their shoes. He's a top midfielder who understands the role of the individual within a team environment. There's also been a lot more individual coaching according to The Athletic. Woodgate and Johnny Evans have been working closely with the young defenders. Carrick himself focuses heavily on the midfielders because that's where he played as a player. Even match days have reportedly changed. Under Carrick, the team bus now arrives at Old Trafford 10 to 15 minutes later, so there are more fans to greet them outside. He wants the players to feel the buzz right before kickoff. Then after games, win or lose, Carrick speaks to the squad, which again, according to The Athletic, is something that Amorim rarely did. The message Carrick keeps repeating is very simple. This is only the start. He knows that the form can flip quickly. Many of the games they have played, despite the results, show that there's still work to do. This United team is far from a finished product. But right now, it's very hard to argue against what he's done. He's brought calm to a club that desperately needed it. And one player who really needed it was Mainoo. To see just how good he has become under Carrick, you have to watch this video right here.